Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Merlin here. Hope you're doing okay. Well, I never expected myself to be back in this game. This is Medieval Dynasty. I, as many of you probably seen on the channel, I did a fairly lengthy series before while I was in the Valley map, and also kind of did a couple of tour videos as well of where I was. And I got as far as heading towards the tavern, and then I stopped. I think I kind of got to the point where I thought, you know, enough's enough. I don't really want to do any more with this. And it was taking quite a while to get to the tavern, and I wasn't really gaining anything from it. And I was other games that were coming out. But yes, here we are. We're back. We're back in the land of Medieval Dynasty, and this time some slight differences have occurred. I'm now working off of the Oxbow map. I've never done this map before until I started playing this a week or so ago, a week and a half ago. And there's been some updates, and they are cracking updates because they make life so much easier to deal with. It's more about kind of like making life easier when you're constructing things than it was before. So again, I've started a short stone's throw from the town of Pistovia. This is the main town where you start, and when you're in town, and we'll head into town in the next working day in a moment. But when you head into town, you will see that it's different from the valley. For those that have followed me on the valley map, I mean, some of you may have already started doing Oxbow as well, which is great. There are a handful of places where people suggest where to kind of start out. When I was doing my content on the Valley map, I did watch a couple of videos from a fellow content creator who was in Oxbow, and this is one of the places that he suggested. And to me, is probably the place for me. But I mean, there will be other places that people would suggest, and that's absolutely fine. It's each to their own. But for me, it's an ideal situation, and that is because of that thing over there, that view there, that waterfall. It's absolutely amazing. We're right next to a mine. So there again here, we've got a lovely mine here. There's no bears sitting outside it, which is very useful. And also we've got the river. We've got some kind of growing straw by the side of the river, which is one of those things you want early on. And it's quite open. And we're in autumn at the moment, but it's quite open. So there's plenty of places to put things down. It's not totally flat, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. I mean, I don't want a totally flat piece of land, but I want a piece of land to work with. So we've started to do some. I've started to do some kind of new village works. Now that in the distance, I've just come across the bridge. That my town at the moment, that is temporary. It is purely and simply temporary. We are going to be looking in this group of videos of redesigning it. But I wanted somewhere to start. So basically, at the moment, I have my storage units, so my food storage, and I have my resource storage. I have a couple of villagers working on logging camp, and also on the hunting lodge. So they've got a couple of houses down the end there. And I have a kitchen, my own house, and also a workshop. And for me, the moment, that's all I need. I know that in the valley, I think by the end of the first year, I had something like 10 or 12 villages. I don't need it in this one. I feel that I can manage with 2. This will ramp up quite quickly once I get my design head on. But at the moment, I just wanted somewhere to start the ball rolling. I've got a couple of farm fields here. It's got rye going. But there is going to be some slight different changes to how I lay things out from before. Now, you're probably saying, what's changed? What's actually kind of been changed in the updates that were different from the valley? So let's have a look at the menu. So for starters, let's head over to I mean, most of the stuff's still the same. Skills is still the same. So is the journal. There is one slight difference with the journal. You do not get your tutorial quests because in theory Oxbow is not a tutorial map. It is either a solo or a cooperative map. You can choose which you want, but I've chose solo. But basically you do get your quests, but you get them from the village themselves, and again we'll look at that at the moment. Map hasn't changed, it's still the same, but things like management. So for example, if you go into a building, I'm not certain if this is something that would happen before. It probably did, but I didn't really take no notice of it. But basically you can have seasonal So if you look at the bottom here, for example, actually let's go back. Click into there again. You can choose seasonal working. I think it's there. Yeah, seasonal management. So you can either go. So for example, if you had a farm field, set of fields, you could then choose what seeds are being grown in those farm fields, season by season, rather than doing what I did before, which was having a load of seed fields run by a minimal amount of villagers. So you'd have like one set of 4 fields that had, say, maybe 2 that were being planted in the autumn, 1 that was being planted in the summer, and 1 in the spring. And the kind of, so you always had someone doing something. That's going to slightly change with my design this time. But so the seasonal management may play a part. There's more scope around here. You can see more about this now than you did. I mean, you could before, but this is very helpful to anybody that hasn't picked up on it before. So, for example, if you go into your map, you can see basically, not map management even, you can see in brackets what the demand per day is for each item, so whether it's food, water, or wood. So, for example, with wood, let's go into this. We go into wood items. I've unticked everything apart from firewood. I don't want them using my logs. I don't want them using planks, and I don't want them using sticks. I want them to use firewood. Now, if you look at the basically here, the value of 1 piece of firewood is 5. So I need 12 pieces of firewood per day. If I then go back to my woodshed and I look at my intensity, it's 4 pieces of firewood for every log that's used. So therefore, I only need 4. I need 12 a day. So in theory, I only need 3 logs per day. But actually, I've put it up to 4. So nearly 4. So basically, I'm building up 16 firewood a day. If you look in the resource production map, you can see here that I'm producing 15.82 firewood per day. And I'm also producing 6 planks per day. So I'm using 7 logs, but I'm developing 17 as a production line here, which is giving me a net of 10. So I'm going to have a supply of logs building up, so I can use them to build the buildings. All the other bits and pieces haven't changed as far as these maps are concerned. However, one of the things that has been a very useful thing, a tool that's come out in the update, is the ability to build buildings by having a resource shed nearby and you haven't got to keep carrying it. So let's just go, for argument's sake, that I wanted to build, I'm in the middle of building a house here, so I won't show it on this one, it's not a really good one to show, but if I wanted to build another house, say nearby, and I wanted to build a wooden house, you can see in the middle of the screen there are the items you need. It tells you, it didn't tell you this before, it didn't say what you needed before to build the item, so this is one thing. The second thing you'll see is there in brackets 2 figures. One is got a bag next to it, and one is got like it's like an oblongish shape. Now that oblongish shape, believe it or not, is your resource shed. And basically, I have 70 stones in resource shed, but nothing on me. So it takes from wherever it takes from. Now I think it takes from your own inventory first before it takes from the resource shed, but either way you can have the logs filtering into the resource shed and the planks, which is what's happening with my woodcutter at the moment, and then as they build up they will then turn green eventually, and then you can start building them accordingly. And it doesn't matter, you know, you can start whenever you like. So like for the house here, for example, once you've started, so if I get the hammer out, you can see here it's telling me what I need. So it says that I need 4 logs for this particular section, and there are 5 in the resource shed. So again, amazing update. Oops, sorry, apologies on that. There's an amazing update which has come in handy for buildings, but you must have the resource shed in near location, not right next door. But I can tell you straight away that when I come to build this house, that resource shed over the river was too far away. So you know that it's going to need it nearby. So for the purpose of what I'm going to be doing here in this area, when I design my village, this is a temporary resource shed. There will be a new one being built in due course, but this is a temporary one for now, so I can build around knowing that everything I want is going to be in this resource shed, or the combined elements of both resources sheds. And it makes life so much easier. So that's the first thing that's cropped up. Now, one of the other things, there have been obviously some subtle changes to things like clothing. So, for example, the same rules apply. I've always said to when I play my release my content before, is make sure you've got your winter clothing ready for winter. I mean, at the moment I'm doing 4-day seasons, and I'll probably carry on doing that for the time being. But it's good to get enough money together and basically get your winter clothing as soon as possible. There is some slight changes to the headings of them, in the sense that there is more different types of winter clothing than before. So, for example, you can see here, this is very similar, but it is slightly different wording. Not really noticeable, but there is, so, I made it my priority to get my winter clothing in place, ready to go. So that's kind of like the basics on there, and again, it hasn't really changed. Other things that have happened in the update is you will be able to paint your house, so you need dye. So whereas before the herbalist wasn't really, for me, a herbalist was pointless, apart from developing poison. It wasn't really much use, to be honest. But now you can develop dyes, coloured dyes, so you can paint your houses and design your houses than you could before. And also as well, while I mentioned on the term of housing, beforehand you had to, if you wanted to say a specific type of house, you had to then select that house. So, for example, if you wanted a stone house, you had 3 options for your housing. So the small one, the simple, the main house, and the bigger house. And then you had to kind of like edit each section. You don't need to do that anymore. So if you go into a house, and you can see here, you've got 3 different houses for wattle, 3 different houses for stone. Start again. 3 houses for wattle, so 1, 2, 3. 3 houses for stone, which is those as well, and obviously 3 houses for wood. So each one is already separated, so you don't need to kind of keep editing. You can still edit the sections if you want more windows, for example, and that's something you can do as time goes on. But yeah, so that's kind of coming useful. Now going back to, obviously I kind of digress a bit there, but going back to obviously for things like having resource sheds nearby to your building, it also helps with things such as cooking. So as you can see here, I've got people collecting, I've got one person collecting meat through the hunting lodge, and that goes straight into the food storage. I don't have to go backwards and forwards to the food storage to make up a meal. I'm not carrying anything. As you can see, I'm not carrying any cabbage, meat, or wooden bowls. It's in the storage shed, so I don't need to worry about that. So I can just literally put it in there and forget about it. So it's an amazing thing that they've done with this. I think it was probably something that needed to be done. And again, with the workbench, same thing again. You don't have to go and collect stuff. I'm not carrying anything in my inventory. I just basically collect it from the resource shed business nearby. So I think if I was to give you one hint when you're designing your village as well, is make sure that your food resource shed is near your kitchen, and your resource and the wood shop is near the wood kind of workshop rather is near your kitchen. So you know. If it means doing multiple resource sheds, then fine, do that. But at least then you know that it's all close by, and you don't have to spend time going backwards and forwards and carrying it. I know some people do take off the load limitation and the stamina limitation, and I don't like doing that. But I do feel that this is kind of a compromise. We have something to eat, because obviously it looks like I need to get some food in me. Actually, let's just take one of the ones. They're both 100%. That's fine. Okay. So basically that's where kind of that comes to from me. So what will happen with this series, it'll be a brief series, because obviously my previous talk kind of went through a lot of it before. But this will be more about my village design, and how I'm going to change things around. So for example, I'm not going to have a blanket area for farm fields anymore. So basically I'm going to have, so this particular area over here, I will probably turn this into like your animal area. So you have all your pigs and your cows and your hens and all that will all be over here. And then I'll have some farm fields in the middle for things like grain and a barn. So basically when people are coming to work, they go straight to the barn to get the grain to feed the animals, and they put the food, and the food and resource will still stay here as well. But this particular area will be like a farming area. This area over here will have your housing, But again, I will mix and match. Whereas I've had all housing in one area, I will probably have things such as I don't know, maybe I haven't really thoroughly thought about it, but basically maybe things like having the I was going to say having the smithy here, but then I've got the mine over there, so the mine will probably go over there. The smithies will probably go over there as well. But it's also kind of, for example, I need to make up armor and weapons and things like that. So you might have someone's house right next to their workplace rather than having to travel. Things like any food that's grown. So again, you probably have a kitchen in the middle of here with some berries coming into it, or with carrots and cabbage and that, so that food has been generated and and spread out. So basically, people have a kind of focal point that they can go and collect their food, surround in the middle of their housing areas. So kind of talking gibberish at the moment in some respect, but it's just kind of giving you an idea that I'm going to look to redesign differently to how it was before. Now, I've just mentioned things like armor and weapons. This is something that came out in the update. I was a bit reluctant to come back because of that, because they said they were going to introduce more bandits and things like that. But actually, to be honest, I think once at the moment it's quite quiet here. There's no one around this area. I think once I go further afield, there will be more people around. So I think we're going to utilise this area just to get myself ready and build myself up, and then go on the old journey and start kind of collecting things and stuff like that, because I want to start selling stuff and all that as well. So it's just a kind of starting point. Now I want to see what time we are on the map. Still a couple of hours before I need to go to bed, because I want to go into winter and we go into Pistovia. So in the meantime, is there anything I can do for now that can help? Let's look at the management map a minute. I want to look at the food. So there's the food items. So how many? So again, I've unchecked everything apart from pottage. I'm making pottage pretty much all the time now. I've got 21 in storage. I've got 840 points, and I need 60 a day. That's going to last me, mathematicians among us, 12 days. No, 13 days actually. So 12 days is 720. So 14 days it'll last me, and I'm going to be adding to it anyway. That's fine. Just trying to think whether or not it's worth doing some pickaxing while we're here. Put a bit of time away. Maybe it's a good idea. Let's have a look and see. 2 is my pickaxe. Right, let's have a 2. Let me torch, because I'm going to leave that. We're going here. So this mine's got tin, it's got salt, and it's got copper. And eventually, when I turn it into a mine proper, then obviously it'll be very lucrative. I can probably get away with doing one more before it cuts out. Another tin one, yeah. As I remember, when you're mining, not only does it give you the deposit, it also gives you stone as well. So let's store everything. Well, actually, let's store the chicory as well. I picked up some of that earlier on. Stone. Tin. That's fine. And again, I think if I remember rightly, I think I've already started my smithy up, which is over here. So I've already started building up copper weapons. So I kind of built up a load of arrows, took them into town, sold them off. So you've got that already. So again, you can, because I'm not carrying any ore with me, it's in the storage unit, so I can just literally just do that. Way to go. It saves so much time going backwards and forwards. We do the same with this. And yes, as you probably say, yes, why am I doing short crafting? as with my previous videos, I just found it so much easier to do that. Alright, how many bronze bars can I do? It's 1, so I've got 7. I want to save some to do some more, because I haven't unlocked obviously bronze weapons yet. So let's just craft, say, 2 or 3. Actually, let's do 4. There we go. So yes, it does take from your inventory first, and then it'll take from your resource shed, because I had 2 in my inventory for copper bars. So put all that away. Tin bar, put that away. I've got any more copper bars at the moment, or copper ore for the matter. That's fine. Okay. I think in the, yeah, as I said, just about to come on. I think in the update before I finished previously, the lighting was introduced into buildings, so that's nothing new, as you're already aware. One other thing is new, is now you can collect ash from your fire. You should be able to collect ash from your fire. No? Alright, perhaps not. You are supposed to be able to collect ash from a fire. Now, whether that's just from an ordinary fire or from a wooden campfire, I don't know. But ash goes towards your dyes, helps towards your dyes, making your dyes. I think we're not far off of time-wise, 6:30. So what we'll quickly do as well, when the winter starts, we'll head into town, we'll have a look around town and see what's about, and then I'll do some off-screen work, and then we'll come back and see how my design is going from there. So that's that. I do need some more food by the look of it, so let's have some more food. Actually, no, I'm not, because I remember as long as the clickers in place, the previous game, end of season, you automatically refilled up on everything, so I don't need to put food in there. There's two villages. Again, once the design is taken place, there will be a proper meeting place. There will be, you know, gathering of fire, seats and all that. But at the moment, it's just temporary. It's just to get the ball going. And we'll go from there. They're a little of a chin wag themselves. Head in here, I don't think is ready yet. I think we're not far off, I think. Oh, we can, there we go, we can go. Next season. Nice little, you can see now as well, this is different from before. So your nice little interaction between seasons. Right, so the caravan of the craftsman builders stops by your village. They offer to teach you something before the departure. Of course, knowledge comes at a price. So basically, learn something from the builders. Extraction skill levels 0 to 4, but it costs you 1,000 coins. I haven't got coins enough. I haven't got extractions enough. So I think for this particular time, I'm going to turn their offer down because I don't have the option for that. Okay. Wind's picking up, as we can tell. I'm going to put my clothing on, get changed. So, transfer, and then we'll just go into clothing. Yeah. Actually, I need to go into me, don't I, to do that? So go into me. There we go. Right. So, equip. It should help us. So we've got a 58% cold protection, minus 18 heat, but then that's fine. We don't need to worry about it. So our cold protection has increased by 58%, which is fantastic. Hopefully all the other clothing has come off. It has. We'll put that clothing away, as I don't need that. Food's getting to 50% or less, so we'll probably be eating that. So yeah, the levels have gone back up again. So we've got what we need. We are now going to head into town. I don't think there's anything I want to take in to sell, but let's have a look anyway. Although bronze bars would be quite handy because I haven't got any bronze menus at the moment, and I can make bronze bars quite easy. So actually, yeah, let's sell them. For leather, I've got a load of leather I can sell, so let's sell them. Although I'm heading overweight now. That's fine. I don't think there's anything else I want to sell at the moment. Stone, no. I'll stick with that as is. Right, okay. So let's go into... so for some of you that have not played the Oxbow map before, here we go. We're going to head over to Pierstover. And as you can see, because it's still early game, I don't have a horse or a donkey to ride at the moment, but this is something that will happen in due course. And while this is all going on, I'm hopeful that my woodcutter and hunter will then develop stuff to, so by the time I come back, we will have plenty in place. Alright, let's head over. As you can see, although it's quite hilly in places, it is a nice open space to build. The only thing I haven't got is any gloves by the look of it, so I might look to see if I can get some gloves in town. Everything else but gloves. Now this particular area is very populous with deer, as you can see. So if you are looking to get a quick fix when it comes to hunting yourself, then there's quite a bit here. There's also an old shack there as well. And there's some obviously rabbits. Across the river, I think it's over that way, there is some wolves as well. Now I do remember when the not this update, but the one that was in there towards the end of last year came out, or September I think it was. They did say that the animals, so that's the wolves, the bears, and even the badgers for that matter, were a bit more vicious than they had been before, especially in the Valley game. But I wonder if that's been kind of cooled off. I've only seen one wolf so far, and he came and said hello and then walked away. And I wasn't actually carrying anything at that point, so I know they do say that generally if you're carrying a torch, or if you've got the torch in your hand, they tend to be a bit scared of that, but I wasn't even carrying a torch. So anyway, here we come. We are heading in towards Pierstover, as you can see. Okay, now I mentioned about the questing, so basically the only way you can get quests in here is off the notice board. So we look at the notice board. There are 3, and as always with these quests, they do expire the season that they come out. So for example here, this one wants 74 feathers, this one wants 12 wooden hoes. That's easy done, I can do that. And this one needs to hunt 2 boar. Well, I'm not in the process of hunting at the moment for that particular side of things, but I can certainly accept that one and definitely accept that one. Because feathers you can get from the tree anyway. So they must be done before the end of the season. So what we'll do, again, I'll do that off screen. This is the marketplace. This basically, actually before we go to the marketplace, I want to show you something first. When you first start this game, you appear down here. I call it the sick house for some reason, but I don't know. But anyway, you appear down here, and what the situation is you have your own chest of things. So the first couple of quests are kind of storyline, and as you can see, you have your own chest. And I've still got some items in here, which I can utilise if I so need to. At the moment, I'll leave them in there for now because I don't really need them. I can sell them if I want to, but I'm going to leave them for there for now. But basically, that chest was full up of items, and I've used pretty much all of it. So again, we'll go back to the marketplace as I digressed. So this is where all the market traders are in this town, in Pierstover. I've not been to any other town yet, and I haven't wanted to until I get a horse or a donkey. But this is where basically you can buy and sell items. You've got your herbs and stuff there. You've got your tools. So and weapons. So you've got things such as your bows and arrows, etc., and a scythe. This is more about food, so fruit and veg, and this is more about your metals and anything else like your sticks and woods and all that sort of thing. So it doesn't matter who you sell to, it's exactly the same as a valley. You can sell to whomever as long as they have the capability to buy from you. So this guy's got 1800 coins available to spend, so I can sell to him all 4 of those, and I can sell to him my leather, and that's done. I'm going to have a look and see. He's not the one with the clothing. I'm just trying to think who the one with the clothing is. I've got a feeling it's one over here. This one. Here we go. Yeah, so this one's the one with the clothing. And I need some gloves. So I've got everything apart. So I've got the cap, the coat, the collar, the shoes, and the trousers. I just don't have the braces. I'm going to buy one of those. And then I'm going to immediately equip it. And that's pushed my protection up to 63%. And it should then be... Oh, that's braces. So maybe you don't have gloves then. Maybe... okay, let's have a look and see if they've got ordinary gloves instead then. Well, maybe not. Then maybe gloves aren't a thing that's been used at this moment in time. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it doesn't say any more than that. Oh well, never mind. We live and learn. Okay, so yeah, so basically that's your marketplace, where everything is. I think if each trader has about 1,800 spare or 2,000 spare, you can probably in any one season sell, where are we, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could probably sell about 12,000 coins worth of stuff to these traders directly. Obviously, as you said, there are other towns that will have them as well, but in the meantime, this is the closest one to me. So that's pretty much it as far as that's concerned. Actually, we're going to head back out this way, to be honest. This is the way I'm going to head. No, we won't. Tell a lie. I keep digressing. Here we go. So, you might find, well, where's all your villages coming from? We came in the other direction. We'll go back in this way in a moment. But just to give you an idea, your villages that you get are all over here. So when you do, they are all there. They're sat around a little circle at the moment. See, that's your villages, and it's the same as before. If you've got your inspector mode on, you can see what skills they have. You know, what levels of skill. So that's about it. I'm going to head back over to my hometown. I've got a feeling I've heard on another update that's coming, you will be able to name your town eventually, which is good. But I'm going to head back over there now and continue doing some work on design and see where we are with that. So the next video you get from me on this, I'm hoping to be a bit further forward with what's been done. One other thing probably you may be asking is, we talked about briefly about quests in regards to tutorial quests, but yet you see one in the top right hand corner of my screen. Now this, I don't know what this is. It says stay vigilant, not vigilant, keep an eye on the situation in Oxbow. So I would imagine that maybe something will happen in due course, but I think I've seen this on a forum before and people say it just stays there. Nothing happens, so maybe it's something that will occur later on, but at the moment there is nothing that you need to do with that. That's not an ongoing quest, it's just not existent at this time, and that's about it. Okay, so again, as always with any of my videos, if you have any comments you want to add, like any questions for example, or any hints and tips, please do put them in the comment section below. And if you liked what you've seen, again, click like and subscribe, and then of course then you can then see the next set of material that comes out soon, hopefully. But as always, I'd like to thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.